Hi, good morning. So, what I'm going to do right now is go through the basics of receiving a brand new TM7, the things that are important to know and the things that are important to learn. Some of the basics of what you need to know is ensuring that you don't, cause any damage to your machine. So I'll go through those very quickly, but what I want to primarily focus on is the screen. It's a 10-inch screen. It's like an iPad. It's like getting a brand new iPad and trying to work out what do I do with this? So, where to go, what to open, what some tips and tricks around the screen are, is what I want to get across to you today. There is more, but if I can help you with the basics today, uh, that will help you for now until I offer some more learning as time goes by. So let's do this. Okay, so you've received and set up your Thermomix. So initially, you need to create a CookieDoo account. CookieDoo is our global recipe platform. So you go to cookiedoo.com.au. So if you've never had a CookieDoo account before, you initiate one and you'll get a 30-day free trial. So take that up. It's free, it's 30 days. And then when you put the details in the setup process of your new Thermomix, it'll ask you for your Wi-Fi and your CookieDoo login. So there'll be your email and your password. So they're the things you need to have ready when you're initially setting up. So you do that and just follow, answer the questions. It's Australia slash New Zealand or something, English. You just go through. It's very, very intuitive and easy. So you set it up, add your CookieDoo, add your Wi-Fi, go right through the process. You'll see a little QR code eventually that offers you 3 months of CookieDoo. That's if you've never had CookieDoo before, you get that 3 months free. And in that process, you need to put in your credit card details. So after the 4 months, the first 3 months and then three, it will deduct $89 per year for your continuation of CookieDoo, which is quite a reasonable subscription for what you get. So when you've set it up uh, and you've got your machine ready to go, let's quickly go through the screen in a minute. But the first thing, I always want to make sure that you know that you can glide your machine around. You never push it. No pushing this way, pushing that way. You glide it because it's got a little glider pad right there. That's the one that glides, and beyond that is a scale. Beyond that are scales as well. While it's on its side, I always am tempted, and you need to as well, wipe those 3 feet because if any crumbs get stuck to any of those feet, that can affect the scales. So you've got your speaker right here, you've got your hand grips that you hold on to when you're moving your machine around. It's better to move it around when when it's not cooking. So, you can have the jug on, but you can still move it around. But probably when it's not cooking with this machine, it doesn't really like to be moved if it's in the process of cooking. Now, always mention the cord can cause an issue with the scales. So if you have something sitting on your cord or leaning on your cord or even something touching this base area, I found that out today. I didn't realize that. So try and keep your whole Thermomix away from anything and don't have anything touching the base or have, apart from the jug, don't have clutter that's touching. Keep that right away and keep your cord free from something sitting on it. That could be a problem with your scale. In fact, with this Thermomix, you can push the plug in, push it in. So you've only got that much out. That's okay. You can do that. So you might just have a small amount reaching to the plug, and that's good. No problem with that. Okay, I'm sure by now you know how to take the bowl apart. The bowl goes up and down, not in and out, up and down. It's a magnetic locking system. You'll hear it lock when you've started a recipe, you'll hear it unlock when it's time that you can lift it up. You can lift it up with two hands because this outer area uh, is heat proof, so you don't have anything hot that you're picking up. Very quickly, when you take your bowl apart, I will lift this up to move it that way. So taking your bowl apart, this here pushes to the side, that lever. Whenever you take your lid off, get in the habit of putting it down on the bench upside down. Take out your blade. The blade is sharp on one side, that side, and blunt on the other. So when it's going clockwise, the sharp blade is hitting food. When it's going anti-clockwise, the blunt blade hits the food. That's good to know because that's just the different actions of the blade going each way. So that's the bowl out. We can put that through the dishwasher. We can use our brush to clean it, pop it into dishwashing water, clean it, dry it, put it back in. Make sure you put the blade back in like a jigsaw, but always, always, always push that across at the same time. So you don't put it there without it being actually really put together well. If ever you've got parts of your machine, your bowl out, I always tend to put that there so I know my bowl's not assembled. So, and it also gives it a spot to go, a place to be put, and it can aerate just sitting there while you're getting, cleaning these however you are. Take it off. Okay, I'm going to put it back together. Now, something quick to know. I'm just going to push that across, make sure it's all assembled. This whole area here is a scale. You can weigh, you want to weigh separately, you can put a little bowl there, and the scales are in this area up here where there's a little line. You touch that, there's the timer, the scales, pre-clean. So scales, you can, put this little bowl on and weigh the spatula. Or you can pour some rice or pour something in it. Or if you only want to weigh something really small, you can put that on the side. So that's a scale. All over that round top is a scale, which I find is really useful. Okay, so I'll put this back on and I'll put the lid on. Make sure when you put the lid on, this like a duck bill has to line perfectly up with the handle. You do not put it that way or that way. It needs to be perfect like that. Now with the lid, this lid has a lid cap which goes on. You push it down flat and turn it 1/4. That's it. And that tightens the band, the little rubber band that's in there. Push it on, tighten it. Easy to pull off, but it just tends to hold it better. You don't just push it on 1/4. A little trick here, this circle here, because this version of Thermomix doesn't have a hole like all the others did, this circle here, use that as your guide for size. That's about the size you chop things, carrots, vegetables, around that size. But if it was something like cheese, it would be a bit smaller because if it's a hard cheese, you don't want a big block that size. You always make cheese a bit smaller. All right, put the lid on. The spatula, make sure always go round the bowl clockwise. That's because you're pushing against the blunt blade. If you go the other way, you might push against the sharp blade and get little nicks along the edge of your spatula. So always clockwise. Now, with the simmer basket, which is often used when making steaming veggies or you're cooking rice, other things. I like to put my simmer basket, the joint there, the lid joint, just there, line it up with the handle. So you just feel that it clicks in there nicely. So if you can see, it's lined up like that. And when it's hot and you're getting things out, you've got this lovely little uh, hook that hooks into the hole and lifts it out for you like that. And when you go to tip what's in it out into the bowl, maybe, I'll just put that back a bit. whatever's in the bowl will push the lid open and you can, drop it in there if that's what you need to do. It's also got that little lip where you can lift it up like that. The spatula also has the little notch there, which is allowing you to put it down without it touching the bench. And you can also stand it up tall if you want to. It's a different spatula, but it's great because it really goes around the bowl and collects everything on the whole side of the bowl. Now, this is very quick overview. So this is the butterfly whisk. It goes in and over the blade like that, over the blade. Or if you don't want it that way, it doesn't matter if it goes the other way. Either way is fine, so long as it's between the blade and over the blade. A rule for the butterfly is never above speed 4. It's got 4 wings, so just remember 4. It says maximum 4 on it, so it's light. So if you go up to speed 10, you would definitely damage your butterfly because sometimes you'll be using manual cooking and they may not have in their recipe stated the speed or something, but just remember speed 4 always for the butterfly. Okay, Varoma. Very quickly, the Varoma is this. This is the Varoma. It's 45% bigger in the TM7. So that circle fits perfectly without the cap there on that circle. So that's how the Varoma goes on. The base goes fits nicely like that. The tray goes inside and the lid goes on top. Now, when you've been steaming, a safety feature is to be mindful that you wouldn't lift it that way because you'll get a shot of steam in your face. So you have to make sure you lift the lid that way and allow the steam to go away from you. That's just, a safety precaution with the Varoma. It's a large, 45% bigger. You can do, there's fish, chicken, vegetables, wontons, little, those little wrap things that you've got yummy things in, whatever they are. You can do cakes, you can do poached eggs. This is called the nester. They're out of supply in the mix shop at the moment, but I think you need to get one of these. They're amazing because you can poach your eggs in them up here, and you can also bake in them. I made some little carrot cake muffins, and I thought, what are these going to go in? And they said, grab the nester. So that's where it makes 8 beautiful sized muffins in the oven. So I think this is very handy to have because they are making more really useful items for the Varoma because they've given it a facelift, they've made it bigger, more attractive, more useful, more exciting. So there's things coming. I believe there's a ceramic dish and something that's stainless steel that you'll be cooking on inside, but I can't give away too much. I know about them and they are coming. So that's the Varoma. Make sure in the search of your cookie dough, just put Varoma. Get to know it, get to love it, and get to understand its use because you don't want to just not use that because it's a huge part of your Thermomix and it comes with it. So you may as well use everything that you get with your Thermomix. One thing, this is the blade cover peeler. You don't actually get it with your Thermomix unless, of course, it's a gift with purchase, which it is at the moment. I think it's up until the end of July. So it may not be, if you're watching this video and it's after July, it may not be the gift with purchase, but it's quite useful. It will peel your potatoes. There's recipes that include it so that the content of your bowl isn't touching the blade because this sits over it. So the blade has 2 raised prongs. This has sort of a funny shape with 2 raised areas. So you put it on over the raised prongs and that's how it sits in there. And it sort of, as the food cooks, it moves itself around, but the food doesn't sort of get shredded by the blade. So it's quite handy to have one of these and it will peel your potatoes as well. It will teach you how to do that. You have to get sort of root vegetables, not just potatoes, but you get similar size, put water in, 4 minutes later, they're scrubbed, all the skin is just about off. And then you can use that liquid to give to your plants because it's got vitamins and nutrition. So put that aside. Now that was a very quick overview. What I want to do now is just to give you a little bit of cookie dough knowledge. Not a lot, but some to get you going. All right, I hope you can see the screen, and I really hope the words are around the right way. Okay, so what I like to let people know, first of all, take note of the 5 symbols on the bottom. They will take you places, and that's where you start. There's the home screen, there's like a little search magnifying glass, that's Cookie Doo. The open book, so that one is the home screen. This one is Cookie Doo, all about Cookie Doo. The third one is all your recipes and how you've got them planned and stored and saved. And it shows what you've recently cooked, what you've bookmarked, your recipe lists, your collections, and created recipes. There's 5 functions, 5 different areas within my recipes. The fourth one down is all about manual cooking. And it is a fact that you can use Thermomix very well without cookie dough. There's a lot of cooking you can do. If you decide at any point in time, that you're not going to use cookie dough, that's okay. But I don't think you'll decide that because cookie dough has so much value. But if you want to just be a manual cooker, this has, got so many great areas that are all manual. It says manual cooking. Okay, and the bottom one, it's there's a few things here, and you can see there's a couple spaces for future editions. And one thing I'll just tell you about the Thermomix 7, it will be updated every now and then. You'll get up and you'll turn it on, and your machine will say, "Would you like to update?" Always update because you'll get something. It might be tweaking things, and you might not obviously see what you just got, but sometimes you get something pretty exciting, like a brand new mode or a whole new section on your Thermomix that they've been planning in Germany. They flick a switch, and globally, the next day we all get a treat. Doesn't cost anything. That's why Cookie Do a subscription's great because it's continuing to get better and better. We're up to Cookie Do point 3, the version point 3, and they told us there's lots coming for that particular version, and that's what we have. So, yeah, so what's on this part? This one here with the dots. You've got my week, so that's kind of like your planning area, what sort of things you've put in to cook on what day. And you can do a whole lot of planning. I tend to use that more if there's something special coming up that I want to cook. I'm not a big planner of every day, but some people are who are really busy get into this, and you'll see 3 or 4 recipes. If you don't happen to cook, like that's on Sunday, I know I won't be cooking that this Sunday, so I can touch the dots and say add that to move it to another day. So I might say I'll cook that next on the 14th of July, save. So suddenly that's moved. It's gone that way and it's gone to the 14th. So you can rearrange if you don't get to cook something, or you can delete it and say, I'm going to try that another time. So that's part of what's here. There's tutorials as well. I would take the time. This is something you need to do in your free time. Grab a cuppa, sit down, open up tutorials and help, and you have a lot of choices. You've got tutorials, you've got the Thermomix manual, you've got safety instructions, which you would have seen when you set up your Thermomix. And what's this one? Contact details for Thermomix in Australia. But if I'm your consultant, you always give me a call if you need some help. I'm available, or you send me a text through WhatsApp or through Facebook Messenger, any which way. I will see what you're asking me, and I will be in touch with you and help you and support you. Okay, so yes, let's go back there. So you've got tutorials, you've got my week, profile, and cookie do. So if you go into profile, you can set your Thermomix up with your name. So you say edit name, and I'm not going to edit because I'm Thermo Queen. That's how I decided to, or who I decided to be. So I'll leave it as that. But you might be whoever you want to be. Just be mindful not to tell if you have a young son that's about 14, because our daughter does, our grandson gets a bit cheeky and puts all sorts of names in for our daughter to find when she turns on a Thermomix. It's just a fun thing a young man would probably get up to. But yeah, you can, if you want your hubby to cook, you can say, welcome to your cooking night, whatever his name might be. So you can play around with that and have a bit of fun with it. So Cookie Do, the two areas in Profile Cookie Do will tell you how long your Cookie Do subscription is lasting. That's just good just to keep a check on how soon, you'll be needing to renew. Um, so settings, there's a few things in settings. Make sure you go in and look and see what's there. So you can change a few things. There's country language, Wi-Fi connection, Bluetooth. You can hotspot your Thermomix if you take it away from your home and go and visit someone. You don't need to connect to their Wi-Fi. You can, but you can Bluetooth to your oh, hang on. Maybe I'm getting this a bit confused. Yes, I am because I'm not in the techie generation. So Wi-Fi, that is where you would be connecting to hotspot or to a internet supplier. Bluetooth, sorry, I beg your pardon. That's the Thermomix sensor, the sensor. So that's a smart connected. I'll just grab it for you. I'm not going to go right through it right now, but it's good to know, for you to know that it's a thing. Now, the sensor used to have what was called the meter. That was a smart connected meat thermometer, but it would work for cakes and everything as well. But the sensor is this. And where it says Bluetooth, we've only got one Bluetooth extra at the moment, and it's this. It's its own charger. It's a little probe that you would be putting into whatever you're cooking. Like it might be meat, might be hot cross buns, it might be something in the oven, or even on your barbecue. It will talk to your Thermomix and it will predict and tell you when it's cooked, how you want it to be cooked. It's simple to use and it's very clever. Smart connected thermometer. So that's our sensor. You can buy these, but they often have them as a host reward or on a mix shop sale. You might get that a little bit cheaper. But if you want to have every single uh, part of your Thermomix being used to its capacity, you'd probably have one of these. I don't use it all the time, but every now and then I bring it out to make my cakes perfect. So that's the Bluetooth sounds. So you can have very loud or you can go back to not so loud. So finish sound and duration, right? It comes preset with unlimited. So it's going to keep making the finished sound until you sort of come and either touch the screen or you press next. But one exciting part of our Thermomix is that the Thermomix talks to Cookie Do on our phone. So there's Cookie Do, they mirror each other. So there's a section down here that says remote access. Let me go down. I'll get to it in a minute. So, yes, so you can vary the volume and vary. I like to have my finish sound finish after 10 seconds. That's enough. I hear it. I know I've got to go back to my Thermomix. So 10 seconds is good for me, or you can vary it up and have it a little bit longer for yourself. Additional sounds, use checkboxes to switch on single sounds. Now, that's future. We've only got the one chime at the moment, but I know we'll get more, and that will be over time. Um, okay, scales and cooking. I don't tend to go there. That's imperial and metric. if I come across a recipe that's been made in the United Kingdom, it'll be in ounces. I just cook it that way. I just weigh in ounces. I don't have to worry about, getting too techie with ounces and metric. So, yeah, that's what that is. And remote access. So, that's what I was just talking about. You need to have both of these switched on to make that happen. So, I can go to my cookie dough and say, I want to make some Swedish meatballs. It says send to my TM7, and immediately it transfers to my screen. I love that. It's very clever. And also, if I'm going through the process of cooking that recipe, it's going to appear on my phone. You'll see it counting 30 minutes or whatever it's doing cooking. So you can be anywhere. You can even be on the other side of the world and someone's in your kitchen cooking on your Thermomix and you can see what they're doing. That's crazy. I've had that experience with our son cooking chicken Buddha bowl. So, but when you see it up here, there's something I learnt today. You can just touch that and it'll bring up the whole recipe. I might just quickly show you. So I did it via a soup. So I'm going to go out of that and I'm going to go back to cookie dough and I'm going to open that soup, carrot and coriander soup, and I'm going to start the recipe. May as well show you what happens when you choose start the recipe. Okay, let's go back. Carrot, coriander. Boy, before you start it, actually, I'm going to close it down for a minute because I want to try something, get rid of the sensor as well. So let's just, we're at the recipe at the start stage. Now, a lot of recipes have, if you can see, serving size portions, which is really handy when you think how many are going to be having this soup. Are we making it for six or four or two? That's really handy to be able to adjust the size, and everything in the recipe will change to accommodate having it for two, four, or six. Now, a little bit further down, it shows you all the ingredients that you're going to need. And it a bit further down, even further, it gives you the steps. Now, just say this was a recipe that you're baking muffins and it says that you need to preheat the oven, you need to get your nester or whatever it might be that you're using. So this recipe isn't like that, but if you know the first one or two steps and you don't want to have to go through them, you can start the recipe from step 3 and say, yes, I won't do that because we're not going to do that. But you can go down and select where you'd like to start your recipe from. And that's handy if one recipe has a whole lot of ingredients to make something before you get into the actual recipe and you don't want to do that part. You just go further down and start your recipe at that point. Now, this recipe, I want to get to where it's going to cook. So I'm going to start from step 3. And I'm not really cooking, but I want to show you something. So I've added the stock, I've added water, I've added the salt, I've added the pepper, and the next step is to cook for 15 minutes on 100 degrees speed 2. So I'm putting on, I know I've got nothing in there, but I'm not going to have it on for very long. So I just want to show you what happens. So if I start that, and immediately it's going to come to my phone. There it is. Can you see it there? It's got 14 minutes. Now, if I touch that, it brings the recipe up. And if I touch that again, you get the whole recipe. So you can actually, I've always thought that it just counted down, but it does more than that. You can actually go right into the recipe. But I'm going to stop it because obviously I've got nothing in there. But that's just to show you can look even a little bit further in there. And once it's counting down and it's ready for the next step, you might be sitting on the lounge watching something you don't want to leave because your Thermomix is beeping. You can actually tick and it will stop. So you can do it remotely, which is pretty clever. So that's good. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back, right to the beginning of time. So we're back where the 5 symbols are. So the first symbol is your home screen. We've named ourselves. These first sections here are related to how you've set up your settings in Cookie So when you're first setting up Cookie you choose what sort of style of cook you are. It starts to look at your style of cooking, and this is the recipes that it gives you are going to be different to somebody else because it's sort of observing your cooking and also looking at how you've set up your settings. So trending, I've got everyday recipes for me, low sugar savvy. For a while there, I had low carb. So I must have had a setting around carbs. And now I'm looking more so at low sugar. Now, bookmarks. So any recipe that you open can just say, I'm going to open Cornish pasties. So I've got the recipe, I haven't started it, but I can go up to the dots and I can say, cook it today, add it to my recipe list, add to my week, add to my shopping list. So there's nothing about bookmark right there. But if I go into start, let me just see what the dots are giving us this time. I'm just trying to see where the book, I'm going to close that because we're not doing that anymore. Close that and not, oh, that's where you closed your recipe as well. Whoops. Okay, so if I go, I know where I get the bookmark right here. So I've got it there and let's see, I open it and I'm going to those dots. I'm confusing myself. Okay, I can't see bookmark there, but it's there somewhere. And this is all Cookie is about that. You can find recipes like I know this soup, I can touch it there and add it to bookmark at the top. But the bookmark is option's not there right now, but it's here. So I've bookmarked it. But how you can use your bookmarks. You might see a recipe that you like and you think, I'd really like to try that. So you can bookmark it. And instead of your bookmarks getting out of order and having too many that you can't be bothered looking at them because you've got so many, you can bookmark for a purpose, and that can be, I am going to try that recipe. So you can then try the recipe, remove it out of your bookmarks so that you're not clogging up your bookmarks. And what you can do instead, you can add it to a recipe list. So you can say, right, I loved that bookmarked recipe. I'll take it out of bookmarks. I'm going to put it into a list. So these are recipe lists that I have. But if you want to create a recipe list, you will, okay, let me get my head around this properly. I'm thinking what I'm going to be doing. See, I'm not as I don't know everything about Cookie but I'm on learning and I'm growing in Cookie So, but what I do know is that that particular recipe, you can move it into like a recipe list that you've created. So a lot of this is done on your app. So what I'm going to do now is close that down and go to my recipes collections, recently cooked, created recipes, bookmarks, created recipes, my week. Look, what have I done? I've confused myself completely, but that's okay. But I have created recipe lists here. So let me see. All right. So what I am looking for is creating a new list. So I'm going to probably get back to you on that because I've confused myself, and that's okay. We all have times where we think we know, but I've done it many times, but for some reason I can't see. There's normally a little plus, and you can create a new collection of recipes. And it might have been a favorite that's a baking favorite. So you can call it my favorite baking dishes or breads or something like that. So I will get back to you on that because right now I'm confused and that's okay. So we've gone through home. Let's go back to the home screen. Home screen, Again, we've named ourselves, we've got certain recipes here, we've got our bookmarks that totally confused me, but that's okay. And recently cooked. It's always good to have recently cooked because you can see what you've been cooking, what date, how often you've been using your Thermomix, what you want to cook again, what you might want to move into a list. So it's not just sitting in recently cooked, because eventually that will disappear because, yeah, you can't keep going back through years of what you recently cooked. Now, at the bottom of the home screen, you can edit your home screen. So what I've got is the tools that are handy for me: my week, manual mode, egg boiler, kettle. So you can edit those if you like. So you go to edit home screen, and so those four tools are under daily inspiration. So you can look through this and work out, do I want to be inspired daily? Do I want to be organized? Do I like having my tools ready and handy? So you can choose which you would like to have, and you can also then work out which of the modes that you would like to select. So I might say, no, I don't want kettle anymore, but what I would like in the morning to see have come quickly to me is, let me see, what about blend? What a, I've got blend already. Okay, what about kettle? If that was what it was before. But what I'm showing you is you can find your top four or your top eight. If you like having these tools handy, you'll have eight, and just get it sorted how you want, how what you want to come to you first. Okay, so let's go to the next, which is cookie dough. Okay, it's just sort of rebooting from anything I might have done. So it's come back to everything that I have. So I've got recipes, collections, modes, ingredients, settings, support. There's a whole lot of things there that you can access. And under that, you've got category. These are filters: category, time, portions. And this filter here is saying ingredients. Search for ingredients, search for, say, I don't want those ingredients. Tags, you might search via ratings. Tags could be gluten-free, dairy-free. Ratings could be 1 star to 5 stars. Show me all the 5 star recipes out of 12,116. So if I tick that, and it says there's 2,622 recipes that have 5 stars. Now that's pretty exciting. These are really popular recipes. So that's just one way of having a look at what other people love. And you can reset that, but you can add a few filters. You can say, I want a soup. So give me a soup. I've got 484 soups. I want a soup that takes half an hour total time. So I'll go 30 minutes, show me 120. So that's two filters. I want a soup that feeds six, 34 left out of all those three filters. I want a soup that contains potato, P. Ooh, better get in front of it so I can see it. Potato, potato. Apply. Now I've got 34 results. Okay, so that's useful. I've narrowed it right down to what I want. So get to know your filters, get to know what's there in your filters. It's really good to have a good coverage and understanding of filters. Um, okay, so, oh, since we've opened up this up here, it's like the control center, that little line at the top. You'll always get a timer, you'll get scales, you'll get pre-clean all the time, which is handy. Time is good if you're cooking for, say, 4 hours or 5 hours. Let's start a timer. You select it, select five, start. And so that timer is just up there happening without bothering you, but it's there and counting down. And what that means is your Thermomix won't turn itself off. It'll stay on, but you can manually turn it off and bypass that filter. Then you've got your pre-up scales, sorry. So the scales are there whenever you need them. And the third one is pre-clean. So you've got your different cleaning cycles. This is pre-clean, not full clean. All of the cycles are there for you to choose and use. Okay, so let's go back to our 5 symbols over here. I want to go to the one that has the blade. We're actually opened at it right now. This is all about manual cooking. We've even got a manual cooking mode where it offers you the time in minutes, time in seconds, the temperature, the speed, and reverse blade or forward blade. So, yeah, thanks. You might be cooking out of a lovely cookbook, like one of the Skinny Mixer books. So you're going to put the book in a cook stand right there, and you're going to follow the recipe, and it's very manual. It's not step by step. So you're following, you need to put in 10 minutes, so you go there. You're putting in the temperature, so it's 80 degrees, go there. You're putting in the speed, it might be speed 5, so you go to speed 4, and then you go up to speed 5, and it might be reverse, so you do it the other way around with the blade. And then press start. So you're manually putting in the steps rather than guided cooking step by step. So that's really handy, manual mode. And all of these modes, I'm not going to go through them all because that would take hours. So I would like to do that separately in different videos, go through each mode. But what I want you to know initially is you can open any mode, like egg boiler, for example. Every single mode has this area of knowledge up here called Show Tips. So when you go to Show Tips, you find the preparation tips of how to, just pop the eggs in, put the water in, how much water, and then tips show you all the different types of eggs with really good graphics and pictures. So you can choose how you want your egg to result, and then you go ahead and do that. You go back to egg boiler and you just get started because you've learnt from the tips what you need to do, and then you press that little start button and off your eggs go. So it's not only egg boiler that has all those instructions and tips, all of them do. So, when you first get your Thermomix, you need to know that you're not going to know everything in the beginning, but you need to also choose to be a student and learn what you need to learn and continue to learn until you're really confident. But you need to know where to find the knowledge. Like fermentation, you may not know much about that, but give me the tips. Show me, tell me what I need to know. The preparation tips and the tips. Why do you use fermentation? How would you use it? So that is for you to go through and have a look. A bit further down is, it used to be called chop mode on the TM6. And the TM7, it's presented so beautifully. You've got all of these lovely food groups, and it's offering you how to use, or what functions to use for each. So let's go up the top. This just came recently: chocolate and nuts, fish and seafood, fruit and vegetables, herbs and spices, meat and poultry, others. So you can go to a shortcut and say, I'm going to be doing fish, so let's go seafood. So then you go to fish, and then it says, what are you going to be doing with your fish? So I might go back one, because fish and seafood, what does seafood offer us? Yes, steamed as well. Okay, so fish, let's go in. It's steamed fish, so we choose that. That's what I was looking for. It says, is it a frozen piece of fish? Is it fresh? Is it this? Is it that? So you choose, it's frozen, okay? You add in 500 of water, which is about halfway. Just if you didn't know, opposite the handle on your bowl, inside the bowl, you'll see markings of water levels. There's 500, 1 litre, 1.5, 2 litres, 2.2 litres. So put in 500, you can weigh it if you want. And then you tick that off that you've done that. And then it says how many fillets. If it's 2 to 3, you're going to use the Varoma. If it's 4 to 6, you place 2 in the Varoma on the dish and 3 on the tray. So it's showing you how to arrange them all. Tick it, and then you're ready to cook your fish. So it's working it out. 20 minutes, Speed one, reverse. Now you might notice there's no temperature there because we're using a varoma. As soon as the machine, the Thermomix knows you're using the varoma through a varoma setting or through manual, it will provide the temperature for you. So you don't have to set that, which is something really amazing, I think. So okay, so then you just press start, and that's your fish being cooked. And everything within these food groups, it's another bit of homework. Open them, see what are they going to offer me, how are they helping me with chocolate, coffee beans, how do I grind them? How do I you know, what do I do with garlic? What is it offering me? It's chopping. How do I do that? Do chopped. How much garlic is it? 20 to 50 grams, right? So that's going to require more chopping than just 5 gram. So it set it up for you and you press and off you go. So that's so helpful. Okay, so I think we've covered home, we've covered cookie dough briefly, we've covered planning our recipes, where they're going to sit. We've got recently cooked, bookmarks, recipe lists, collections, created recipes. I've got a little bit stuck on my recipe list, but I will absolutely look into that and give you the information for that you need. Um, and this is the manual cooking and settings. Now, I think that might be enough. So I'm going to finish this now, and I hope that some of these tips have been useful. There may be some I haven't covered, but my plan is to make sure what I know, what I learn, you learn. So you come on the journey with me. I've probably learned a bit more over 15 years. So whatever I can offer you, I'm going to share it because I want you to get up to speed with your Thermomix. When you invest in one, you want to be able to use it to its capacity and use all the tips and tricks and features and benefits that they've offered us. So I think that's enough for now because there is more, but I'm not going to overload you with too much in one session. This is kind of like a beginner's session. So anyway, have a great day. Keep cooking. This is my motto. We all have things going on in our lives. We've had quite a bit of things going on lately, but it's okay. That's life. But this is if you stick with this, keep calm, cook, you produce beautiful, healthy food for your family, gives you something to occupy your mind, and it just is a fun thing to do. So keep cooking, keep enjoying your Thermomix. Reach out if you need support. I'm here, not always calling you because I've got a lot of customers now, about 700, and I can't call everyone regularly. But you can get in touch with me, and I'm available if you would like to have a chat or have some support. But thank you, and I will be in touch with more for you to learn. Thank you. Bye.